Sheriff's Department following what we think is a stolen vehicle, suspect mostly on surface streets through most of East Los Angeles, and then just moments ago got on the 60 freeway, where the Sheriff's Department has continued the pursuit.
Bam, I think we're now.
Stu, can you tell us what options
today we're going to be watching? Southern California, police chase, police pursuit, November 29th, 2011.
Interchanges that are coming up.
Bam.
Well,
Okay.
we're still quite a ways from the first one probably would be the East LA interchange, and that's still quite a ways up. 710 also is coming up.
So this is the freeway, is 710 freeway. He actually brought his speeds up to maybe 90 miles, maybe, I don't know. Hitting the brakes, slowing down at about 15, 20 miles an hour.
It started earlier, but again, you can see him making a little bit more erratic driving here, cutting into the emergency lane a little bit, and speeding up.
Coming into the emergency lane.
Turn here at one point, so we're going to see where
turning right.
Yeah, got off the freeway.
Hitting the curbs, he got off the freeway.
Yeah, it seems like he's in a panic.
It seems like he's in a panic.
And, again, this is one of those, whoa, there he goes. And I see he's kind of boxed himself in here. Sheriff's Department a little bit farther behind him. We'll see where they're at. But there they come. They're making their way. But somebody...
There they come. There they come.
So, yeah, again, we're back where we started.
They're back where they started. They follow it before.
Again, this might be a more familiar area, and again, driving a lot more erratic now.
Driving a lot more erratic.
Yeah, more of a
driving a lot more erratic. Now,
and
panic is sure not pointed out, and now he.
They've talked in the
past about how a lot. It started maybe a few hours, maybe about several hours ago, where it started, and they had to be thinking. It's about whether this is a stolen vehicle. It's possibly a suspect could be armed. It's really flying. That's really something with the vehicle. He's trying to get some speed. One of the wheels, his vehicle is going low. The speeds have increased up to 80 miles an hour. Let's listen. Maybe 35, 40 mile an hour zone area. So let's listen.
Never did see the driver's side window go down. So maybe there is some talk on the radio that I'm hearing that possibly he's having a problem with one of his wheels. So this might be coming to an end here very quickly. Also, he might start having issues with his maneuverability. Maybe this vehicle is not going to be able to. There he goes. You see, now, see, this is what we're talking about. Now he's getting a little bit more desperate. He's driving in on the center divider, going into oncoming traffic. He just clipped that vehicle there. We saw something come off that white pickup truck, so he did make contact with him. And his speed's definitely increasing here as he's now he seems to be desperately trying to get away from the officers.
Yes, dude, this is like watching two different drivers. I mean, when we picked up the pursuit at about 8:15, this guy seemed to be obeying most of the traffic laws while he was being pursued, but now it's a whole other story.
Oh, definitely. And again, we haven't seen him in many of these type of neighborhoods right here, these residential neighborhoods with these small streets. And this gave us hope. I thought we had an opportunity there to maybe to take a look at that front wheel that they're talking about. And again, very tight there. He might have just touched that other vehicle. And as we get along to this other side here, I don't see what the Sheriff's Department was possibly talking about. It looks like all four wheels on this vehicle are solid at this time. But again, he's making a much more desperate move now, moving much quicker and changing up his directions very, very quickly.
And it's so scary because he's on these residential streets that are so tiny, and he has such a large pickup truck and going at such high rates of speeds. Hopefully, if you're watching this on television and you live in the area, that neighborhood, please stay indoors and just avoid the streets altogether.
Well, unfortunately, a lot of people they find pursuits to be a spectator sport, and they wind up outside, which is just the opposite. This is holiday time too, and a lot of people are out shopping and out on the road.
Did he get back on the freeway, or is this a Main Street? Oh, it seems like a main street.
These are still main streets. These are all very tight turns he's making here. And again, the Sheriff's Department, we kind of know this just from being in the news so often. often, is they have gone into a tracking mode. They are not going to be. You see that helicopter right there? That is the sheriff's helicopter lighting him up. But he's the only person that's going to stay there because of all these erratic moves that he's made just recently, and possibly contacting some other vehicles. And again, right now he has shut off his lights. Not that that's going to help him in any way, shape, or form. But we know that you can see those are probably brake lights. No, that he turned his lights on and he turned his lights back off and on there for a second. But again, this is not going to help him in any way, shape, or form. And LAPD, I'm sorry, the Sheriff's Department has basically just backed off. You know, they just drove in front of one. Obviously, they want to pursue him. They want to get the bad guys. That's what anybody in law enforcement does. But in this case, they are being told to stand back and just be in the area in case this guy does what they call foot bail, where he jumps out of the vehicle and starts running on foot, or possibly pulls into a residence and runs inside. But right now, the only person chasing him, physically chasing him, is going to be the sheriff's helicopter.
We have Captain Mike Parker from the LA County Sheriff's Department on the phone with us. Captain Parker, are you there?
I am.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight. Can you give us any update or the information on this particular chase?
Sure, it's a stolen vehicle. Our East Los Angeles deputies ran the license plate near Telegraph in Washington in the City of Commerce at about 8:01 p.m. and the license plate showed that the car was stolen. We began to follow the car, and the driver obviously decided not to stop. We have a helicopter overhead and deputies following the vehicle, and we are in hopes that the suspect will soon pull over and surrender.
Captain Parker, have you guys backed off into the tracking mode then officially?
You know, I can't see right now. Actually, my best vantage point is watching Channel 9 News right now.
Well, that's a pretty good vantage point.
That's a great vantage point. Yes, absolutely.
And I'm not the watch commander, so the watch commander is very focused on what's going on with this pursuit. But I can tell you some of the things that I'm sure are going through the minds of the officers, the deputies on scene, and the watch commander, if you like.
When you talk about tracking modes, why is it that they hang back? I mean, this started us as a very close pursuit, and then all of a sudden they back off. What is the intention or the purpose of backing off?
Sure, it's not an exact science, but through experience, we found that once we have a helicopter up and he's following the path of the vehicle, then it's really not necessary for the deputies to be close to the car, and they'll just lay back and wait till the suspects, who oftentimes stop, bail out, start running, and then they can go and apprehend them on foot. And so sometimes if we back off and we don't have a car close to them, they will slow down, or they will stop erratic driving. The driver is obviously not driving safely, and so we're concerned about public safety, number one. And I mean, it's great if we can recover the stolen car, but our number one priority is public safety, and you can tell this person is not driving safely.
Well, it's interesting though, when the sheriff's vehicles are right behind this car, he seemed to be driving in a more normal fashion. Now he's become more erratic. Do you change your strategy if that's the case?
Well, you're applying logic, which is a logical thing to do.
Well, thank you, Captain.
You're applying logic, but unfortunately, in situations like this pursuits, logic rarely prevails. So, there's a lot of things that will be going through the deputies' minds right now, having to do with, do they want to potentially lay out spike strips, which is a very dangerous thing to do unto itself. Many officers have been severely injured or killed laying down spike strips. It's not just a simple thing. You have to have the right neighborhood and so on, the right place to do it. It's not a good place to do it on the freeway. You don't want to take out other cars in the process. When they get on the freeway, the California Highway Patrol does an excellent job on the freeway, and they use the pit maneuver. The LA Sheriff's Department does not use the pit maneuver. And so these are all strategies being weighed right now as this driver continues to drive in an unsafe manner and put people at risk.
Well, I'm going to ask you a follow-up question, and it's a two-part question. First of all, why does the Sheriff's Department not pit? And second, do we know how many suspects are in the car?
I don't know how many suspects are in the car. As far as not pit, is the pit maneuver, from what we've seen, is
whoa, Captain, hang on for 1 second, if you will. We're going to go to Stu Wendell in Sky 9.
Yeah.
Stu.
Well, we know we're in Alhambra, and you just saw that dramatic crash right there as he came around a corner. We're in a residential neighborhood. We were just trying to get you a
saw him. And you can see that saw him spun around the car, spun around, out of control, and look. He hit the parked car, and now.
And we've been following this guy running here through the trees, and
there's no cops behind him yet. He got away from LAPD for just a short while, and he's been on the surface streets and the freeways for the past several minutes. For the past several minutes or so, since the police started to chase for the past few minutes. For the last few minutes or so, since the police started this chase. And they're into maybe an hour long, maybe they're into maybe about maybe 10 or 15 minutes into the chase now, and we don't see the suspect anywhere yet.
We're going to try to get you a
You're watching KCAL 9 News at 8 o'clock, and breaking news, a police pursuit that began about 8 o'clock this evening in East LA.
And they began about 8 o'clock this evening, has been going on for about 20 minutes since the police started this chase. And the LAPD is here. Everyone, let's listen.
Oh, they definitely know where he is right now, and it was a very confusing little deal. Much like we were having some issues here with getting those cross streets for you earlier. That it seems that the Sheriff's Department was having some issues as well, possibly some technical issues with their stuff. But they definitely have made contact with the officers in the area. You can see them here pulling up as we speak. This is the 5400 block of Allen. Our GPS.
So this is the 5400 block of Allen, and this puts a GP. That puts a GPS navigation map by turn with car safety features. Hopefully they will take them into custody. Everything in the pursuit, no one got hurt. At least he spun the car and hit the parked car. In the last spot, they saw the suspect run into the apartment complex. Now it ended. Thanks for watching. Check out this video pops up here. Bye, guys.